And then I already started, but you can start whenever you feel comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah. You can start whenever you feel comfortable.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to start. All right, we got it. All right. Hi, my name's Dylan, and this is my story. As cliche and corny as it sounds, I'm gay. And ever since I was younger, I've always thought of, like, I guess being in a relationship. You know how they say, like, girls always think about weddings and this and that. That was me as a kid. I've always thought about, like, growing up, meeting that perfect person and just living out, like, that stereotypical fairy tale type of life, right? And it hasn't worked out that way. And I guess being 27 now, I've yet to even been on an actual date with a guy before. So obviously if you haven't been on a date with someone, you haven't necessarily made it to dating someone or being in a relationship. And being 27 years old and not having that fantasy play out the way you've always wanted to, it's kind of taken a toll of, like, mentally on me. Like, I'm super self-conscious. My self-confidence is a 0. And it's just made me almost become, like, the opposite person of, like, who I thought I would be and who I was. When I was younger, I was always the super happy child and the one that never wanted to get in trouble and this and that, and so sweet, and always got those little corny awards at school, and, you know, like your little star child. And then as I got older, I never exactly went to college, and, you know, job is a job, but I've had 2, like, jobs in the food industry that I've stuck with, so it's never went the way I planned. And yeah, it's kind of led me to where I am now, where I don't want to use the word depressed because I think that is a very serious term, and I haven't been, like, medically diagnosed, so I won't necessarily say that term, but I've been, like, super down all the time, and it's, yeah, gotten me to that point. I guess it goes back to, like I said, when you're 27 and you haven't even been on a date yet, it kind of makes you feel like you're not good enough, I guess. You know, I've been on all these different, you know, apps for gay guys, you know, whether, you know, even Tinder, Grindr, stuff like that. And I guess when you even get on there and you message people and they don't respond and stuff, like, of course that's going to happen, but it just sticks out to you a lot more. And I've had 3 significant guys that I've actually put, like, effort towards, that I thought something was going to come out of. The first being someone I worked with when I worked back at Bojangles. And I helped him out a lot. He didn't have a car at the time. I gave him rides to work at, like, 4 a.m. in the morning when he had to be there, even if I didn't work. We hung out all the time, did everything together, and, you know, it just never led to anything, even though he was constantly making me feel like that's what it was. And yeah, guy number 2 I met through my best friend Neil, and it was his friend at the time, and I started to hang out with him because we would all hang out together, and we became really close. He has 2 brothers. He's the middle child, and him and his younger brother were pretty much inseparable. And so I would always hang out with them, and it was during the summer, so they didn't have school or anything, so we were hanging out every day, literally every day, whether before I went to work, after work, or on my off days. And me and him got really close, and we talked about it one day in my car, and he told me he never done anything like that before, never been with a guy, and he's actually like, he didn't admit he was bi, but he just kind of said it's something that's always been on the back of his mind. And it went on for years, on and off. To this day, we stopped talking for months, and then he'll come back, and I am dumb enough to go back every time. Ever since all this happened, I never feel good enough anymore. Even in like normal life, like hanging out with friends, you'll rarely catch me like text people first asking if they're doing anything, if they want to hang out. Because it just goes back to me just, I guess, just feeling like I'm not good enough. Like people don't actually want to be around me. Even though, yeah, I do know that's not the case, but it's just like, you can't actually bring yourself to do it. If people cancel plans on me, or if they do stuff like that, it hits a lot harder, I guess, than it would a normal person. It's just became a point to where I just take it a lot more personal than it probably is. Even if it's someone like something came up, I just take it to different levels, I guess. No, I don't know. I don't think I ever felt like that. I never felt like this in like childhood or even like high school and stuff. It started after that is when it all kind of started happening and building up, and it's kind of made me who I am now and why I'm like this. It's hard for me to feel comfortable around people, and as cliche as it is, like I have these like walls built up now, and it's hard for me to let people in. And when I do let people in, I get hurt a lot more. No, because I'm still like that now. I just lost 2 friendships, I guess you could say. Guy 2, his little brother, we actually got close, and I kept in contact with him, and we don't even talk anymore because anytime I asked him to hang out, he always had an excuse, and he admitted he was given excuses due to a certain reason, which wasn't a big deal. But even afterwards, when he still wasn't able to like hang out with me or make time for me, it just got to a point where it was like overwhelming. And I felt like, it's like a feeling like you feel like you have no one, even though I have friends and coworkers that care about me a ton. And it's like, I know that, but it doesn't ever click. And it's so hard for me to describe to friends, because I have friends now that message me and they say, why don't you hang out with me anymore? And my outlet is social media, as bad as that can possibly be, but I don't like talking to people about stuff. But it's like when I post about it on social media and I know people have seen it, when they either like it or, if I post it on Snapchat, you can see who looks. It's kind of comforting in a way. It's almost like an outlet. It's like I know people are listening without me actually talking to them. I don't know from experience, but the type of like love and attention and like encouragement you can get from a significant other, at least what I think that would be like, is different than what you can get from a friend. And it's like that void that I have it's not something friends can help with. It's, and it's I assume it's true, because type of like love and happiness you get from a significant other isn't necessarily the same as like a friend can give, because that's why they're that significant other to you, you know? And that's where I'm at. It's like there's like a void that I can't fill no matter what I've tried. Music helps me a lot. I'm not one to like drink. I don't, do drugs. I don't even like smoke weed or anything like that. And music's kind of something I went to a lot. That's why I go to like concerts all the time, because it's like an outlet for me, I guess. That's my way of knowing that other people understand. It's all temporary though. I can go to a concert to my favorite band and feel free as can be that night. But at the end of the day, when I wake up, it's like I'm back to my old life. Tried meditating. I've trying to find a affordable way to speak to a counselor. People, my friends that do have depression have told me, about medicine they've taken, but something in my head, I just don't want to feel like I'm relying on a pill or a substance of something to feel, again, quote unquote, normal, which I have nothing against, people that do, if that works for them. Like, I support it completely, but something with me, I just don't want to have to rely on something else to make me feel normal. You gotta keep going. I'm still going through it to this day. You just keep going. You keep your mind occupied best you can, whether it be with work or just positive activities with friends, creative outlets. You got to keep going. Everyone's life is different. Everyone's life is on a different timetable. The way one person's life works doesn't work for someone else, and that's what I've dealt with. They say it gets better, and hopefully it does. They can't necessarily tell you when, but that's, I guess, for you to find out and continue striving towards. Kind of goes back to my music. All my tattoos on me are symbolic of whether a song that's helped me get through it, of a time in my life. So there's no real one specific, but that's what I've done. I've kind of like permanently put it on me so I can look at them and know that that's something I've dealt with and I've gotten through. Maybe almost like badges or like little trophies for getting through it. All mine that deal with my favorite band are probably the ones that mean the most to me. I have Whore tattooed on my leg, and it's a song from my favorite band called Whore, and it's, despite its name, it's like a really liberating song. It's talking about taking something negative and degrading, like that word, but turning it into something positive and empowering for yourself. And that's what that song has been for me. It actually helped me through a really, really dark time in my life. That could have been a point to where I might not be here right now. And I heard that song and actually heard it if that makes sense. I'm really bad about, I can know all the words to every song on an album, but not actually know what any of the songs are saying. Because I know them, but I never listen. And at that time, I was, like I said, in a really dark place in my room, possibly contemplating certain things. And they have a live album. My music was on shuffle. And they have a live album. And on that live album, in between some songs, they have little interviews that she may speak about the next song, what it's about. And that interview came on, and she started speaking about what that song meant. And then the song actually came on after, which is kind of, I believe everything happens for a reason, whether we understand it or know it or not. As at my phone, which has over 2,000 songs, went from the interview straight to that song. And I listened to it, and it, at that moment, like, pulled me out, and like, it like snapped me out of it. And ever since then, it's really stuck with me, and that's why I got it tattooed on me. And it was like I said, like a little symbol that I just know I made it through that. And when I see it and people ask about it, I kind of like that it says what it says, because it's controversial. I almost like the attention and looks they give me because of it, because then I get to explain it, because then you get to see the face of why would you get that tattooed on you. And then it goes to that face of like, wow, like I really respect that. And it makes you feel good. And like little moments like that is like stuff I need whenever, I'm going through the usual of feeling down and out, So.
Thank you.